Couch Talks is available to stream on all major podcast platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. For more information on that or to find me anywhere else online, click the link in the description. We're back with a little bit of a solo podcast today. It's kind of just been weighing on my mind for a while, and I've honestly kind of tried it a few times, but I kind of wanted to just come here and share my thoughts about my first semester in college, specifically Texas Tech. Kind of just being independent and things like that. So, if you guys are, I don't know if you guys have maybe just a ball of lettuce in the fridge. Maybe you just enjoy this episode. So, I hope you guys are good though. I hope you guys are good, because sometimes, sometimes it's hard to be good. And I'll just say that there. Yeah, so we're here. Moving away from home. All right, so I'll just kind of start with moving away from home and kind of just kind of how that was, I guess. Moving away from home was tough. I'll be honest. It wasn't the hardest thing in the world. Luckily, I've always been kind of like kind of one of those guys that is not super attached to anything. Like, I get hyper fixated on certain things, but I'm able to kind of adapt to my situation pretty well. So, that being said, moving away from home wasn't easy either. Definitely seeing my room and my old podcast studio and my backyard just empty, man, that it really broke my heart. I'll be honest, it really broke my heart. But besides that, I mean, just knowing that I was moving away from home, away from my friends, away from family, away from a few special ladies, I knew it was going to be tough. And eventually, it did catch up to me. Like, there was definitely some nights where I'll be honest, I maybe shed a tear or two while I was over here. But you kind of just adjust to certain things. You grow up, and things change. You're not always going to be sleeping in your pajamas in that race car bed. So yeah, I had to grow up. Moving away, it definitely taught me a few lessons. For one, just learning how to be alone, like actually alone, not being able to just drive to my friend's house or, be able to, get ice cream or something. I had to, fully sit down and say, hey, all right, I'm not home anymore. And at the same time, I'm not a kid anymore. And that was kind of like the biggest challenge, I feel like, just realizing, hey, like, I'm not a kid anymore. I can't just go around, you know what I mean? I can't just go around doing bad things, because there's consequences to my actions, and I'm not, and nobody's here to save me. And I don't mean that in like a sad way, but I mean that in like a serious way. Like, nobody is here to save me. Nobody's here to bail me out of certain things. Nobody's here to, like, I'm here by myself, and I need to learn that I am by myself, and not in a sense of like I got nobody. It's not like phones don't exist. Like, I've actually kind of got closer with my parents, but that's kind of besides the point. The point is, like, I needed to realize I need to be, kind of in a way a big boy. I needed to stop being an idiot. And that's not to say that I haven't made some stupid mistakes since I've been here, kind of in a bunch of ways, but I just feel like I'm learning. I'm becoming a young adult. I'm kind of evolving into I guess a young man. I guess I'm a young man now, and I guess I'm evolving into a man. I don't know. For those that are curious, I cut my hair. I just buzzed it literally yesterday. I've been growing out my hair for a few months. I don't even know if I have any podcasts with my hair out. I'm pretty sure I've been wearing a hat every time, but I was growing it out for a minute. And I just, I wanted to change it. So actually let me go in through that kind of angle. I'm not really sure I ever kind of expressed why I left and why I decided. For those that don't know, I'm was born and raised in New Jersey, and I lived there my whole life. And most of my friends stayed pretty relatively near. Some went a few states away, but I mean, I guess out of my friend group, I decided, I guess, to go the farthest. And it's not like it's a competition at all, but I just, a lot of, when it happened, a lot of people were kind of just like, what are you doing? Why are you going to Texas? Like, of all places, why Texas? Why Texas Tech? Um, and I'm not sure I ever kind of expressed why I decided to leave and kind of just where my head was when I made the decision to leave. So, kind of when talking about this specific topic, I personally tend to kind of give a few different answers depending on who you are. So, like, my general answer is always, oh, like, I left because I needed to try something new, which is true. That's not true, but I feel like there was just more reasons to it. Like, I feel like, just anybody makes decisions, and it's usually because of multiple reasons. Like, nobody really just makes a grand decision because of one thing, so to speak. So, yeah, so my reasons, I guess, why leaving is, for one, like I said, I just needed a change. I needed to do something different. I needed to put myself in an environment that I didn't know if I was going to be comfortable. Not saying that I wanted to go and be uncomfortable, but I needed to try something else. And from the jump, when I was thinking about going to college, I said, man, I need to try something different. I need to be somewhere new. Man, I need a new, environment, new people. So that was one. Two, I just didn't feel like I had the space to grow where I came from. Not saying that I couldn't have, right? Because I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, 10 minutes away from New York. Um, if I really wanted, if I really wanted so bad to grow, I definitely was in a spot where I could have. But I don't know. There was something about where I was from that I don't know. There was something like mentally holding me back from doing the things that I wanted to do. And even here, I haven't even accomplished nearly what I thought I would have by this time. So, but that's not to put myself down, but just to be self-aware, like, hey, I'm not even doing exactly what I said I was going to do. But that's besides the point, like I said. And third, and I feel like, and this is the reason why I feel like I don't really tell, like, this is the reason I guess I don't really tell people, but honestly, I feel like, and this is me being honest, even if it's, in a way, dumb to an certain extent, but I left and to a certain degree to run away from certain problems I was dealing with. Um, for one, just not being able to get over certain people. And I'm not saying this in a way to make anybody feel some type of way or to attract attention to a certain person at all. Like, that's not my intention, and I'm gonna kind of say something about that a little bit later. But um, man, I just was running away from certain problems, certain things in my head where, like I said, I feel like I wasn't able to grow because of certain factors, um, which I don't know if I should fully share. To respect other people's, privacy, I guess. But yeah, like I said, I just needed something different, and I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I feel like a lot of people do that on a constant basis. Sometimes you just need to move places until you find where you feel like home, like where you feel like you fit in. Um, yeah, and I don't even know if I found that here. Um, to a certain extent. So like, I don't know, like, and my mom told me not to even say anything about this, but like, I might even transfer to a different school, maybe. I don't even know, because and there's nothing wrong with Texas Tech. The people here have been, nice and kind, and I've met a lot of cool people here. But man, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't even fit in. But then again, I kind of felt that when I was back in Jersey. So, I kind of have to ask myself, man, am I the problem? I gotta ask myself, man, am I the problem? Because why don't I fit in anywhere I go? That's not to say I can't enjoy myself. That's not to say I don't have friends. That's not to say, um, man, I don't have good times. Like, of course I do. I had that in Jersey. I've had good times here. I've met some, I had good friends and stuff like that. But I don't know. There's something deep down that just tells me I'm not where I'm supposed to be. But at other times, I hear from certain people or, videos online that say, well, you always kind of, I'm more or less, I'm just kind of curious if I'm ever going to fit in somewhere. If I'm ever going to really truly feel at home, like, hey, like, this is where I'm supposed to be, and I don't know, maybe I haven't, I don't know, I've never really felt like that anywhere. And yeah, I'm not trying to get sad. I'm not trying to get sad because I know sometimes when I get sad, especially on these solo podcasts, man, you just don't have anybody to bounce off, those negative thoughts with. So, it's just really easy to kind of just fall into that trap of being sad. Um, which is actually kind of another thing that I've learned kind of while being over here, while, moving away from home is, like I said before, nobody's here to save you. Um, so, definitely not having that support system in terms of like the people that have seen me through my best and through my worst definitely man, I'm saying definitely so much, but it was definitely weird, because I remember, like I said, not to get sad, but I remember being really down in the dumps, like being, almost hating myself. And like I had good people around me, man. I had really good friends, and not to say that they were perfect, they definitely had their flaws, but I'm just saying, like, I had people that stuck with me from day one. And so it was definitely hard to just not be able to go to their house when I'm sad. You know what I mean? Or, pick up some sandwiches or something. Sorry, I'm being dumb. But I'm just, I think you guys kind of just get where I'm going with this. Like, I just, I miss having my friends, kind of, a 5 minute drive away. But, I'm going to see them soon. The semester's almost over. And that's kind of why I wanted to make this video is, I kind of just wanted to sum up how everything was. Um, so I'm kind of, right now I'm kind of just focusing on, the moving away part. So like I said, just to kind of finish up that thought is, like I said, just moving away was tough. It wasn't the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but man, it was tough. Kind of just leaving because, I moved, and I feel like maybe I didn't clarify that. I moved. It wasn't just, going to college. I actually moved from my hometown and moved to a whole nother state. Um, in North Carolina. I live in North Carolina now. So, it was on top of just going to college, it was moving on top of that. So there is no, hey, I'm going back for break to my house. I'm going back to maybe spend some time with my brother that also lives in Jersey, and maybe I could stay with him for a bit, but it's not like I have my home. So I'm just, that's just something I guess that's been on my mind. But um kind of aside from just moving, being here, man, let me talk about my experience being here. It was good. I'll be honest, it's been pretty good. Um, I met a few ladies and things like that. Man, there's been some, there's been like maybe just one or two that, kind of really sparked my, or really just grabbed my attention. And, man, I just, I messed it up. I'll be honest. Um, yeah, I really just messed it up. You know what I mean? But you live and you learn. I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on that and really talk about that too much. But I definitely, I'm learning to be kind of just a better person. I feel like I've maybe just treated people poorly um at times, and I'm kind of just figuring out why. But that's kind of just something else to go into later. Yeah, I guess kind of adding to that is learning how to be alone, and not in a sense of like physically alone, but like mentally alone. Like learning to be my own best friend, and I've done that in the past, but like now it's like for real. Like it's not, hey, I'm sad in my room crying this and that. Now I go downstairs to eat with my family or something, and and then you kind of just kind of brush it off and forget about whatever. Like it's, I'm here by myself, and if I let those bad thoughts consume me, like I said before with other things, nobody is coming to save me, to kind of drag me out of those bad thoughts and those bad cycles. Um, so I kind of, that's just something. But on top of that is I realized that I feel like I always put my happiness, or like relied on my happiness um based on, I mean, I'll be honest, based on girls in my life. Um man, who was Snapchatting me at the time? Man, it's some of my buddies, man, that left. But I'm serious, man. Sometimes yeah, something like I realized like I put a lot of my self-worth into the way that women see me or treat me and things like that, and I have to look back and it's taking some time to reflect on that and say, why do I need someone to feel good about myself? And it's kind of taken me some time to kind of realize that and say, you know, why can't you just be alone? Like I like being alone, but I don't like feeling alone. And I know that's, kind of most people, but I realize like, man, I just sometimes I hate myself when I don't have somebody to tell me that they love me, or somebody to tell me that I'm doing good or that they're proud of me. So then sometimes I just fall into this cycle of really just hating myself. So, kind of, and I'm not saying that's where I'm at now. I'm just saying, like I said, just, being alone and not having no girlfriends or anything like that. Like I really realized, hey, like, you gotta kind of look within. Are you good? Like sometimes I need to ask myself, hey, am I doing okay? Because, there's nobody else around me that's asking that question. Not, and that's not throwing shade to any of my friends, man. My friends are good people, but everybody, you grow up and you realize everybody got their own shit going on. So, that's definitely that, man. I just had to realize, I got to be happy with being by myself. And I'm not saying I've mastered that, nor have I, come to the full acceptance of like, hey, man, like I might be alone for a few years. Like I might straight up not have no girlfriends. And that's not to say I'm ugly or that I'm not worth it. It's just the fact that, hey, man, I might not have no honeys. I might not have no one to, make eggnog with or something like that. I don't know, but I got to just get out of that state of mind of just wishing that I had someone. And sometimes, especially with the holidays rolling in, you get all in your bag. Man, I want someone to hug me or to scratch my back. And man, I gotta get out of that mentality. And it's definitely easier said than done, but there's only one way to kind of make that change. Um, so, but yeah, anyways, besides kind of being alone and kind of, I'm trying to get out of that kind of sad, man, I'm trying to get out of the sad narrative that I'm kind of creating. And I'm sorry for any of the viewers, maybe that have gotten a little sad or something, maybe just a little tear dropping down your eye, man. I don't mean it like that, man. But besides that, man, life's been good, I guess. I mean, certain things have been good. I definitely have been partying a lot more than I have. And not to say that that's, it's actually probably not a good thing, but, just going out and living life and being a young adult, being a young man, going outside, man, and just, kind of, doing your thing. Maybe doing certain things that you shouldn't be doing, man. It's all about learning. It's all about growing. It's all about collecting experiences, man. I feel like experiences are like these globes, like these, I don't want to say balls. Man, I don't even know where to go from there, but man, I just feel like sometimes they're just these moments, and you're kind of just putting it into a bag. You're putting the moments into a bag, and yeah, man. So I'm just creating a lot of moments, man. I met some, like I said a few times, I guess. I met some good people, and man, I've been learning about responsibility as well, kind of. I mean, I have to clean. Not that my mom has ever had to clean my laundry, but I mean, sometimes you gotta just clean your clothes. So that's definitely something new, man. Just for remembering, hey, man, like there's not gonna be no, there's not going to be any water in the fridge if I don't go buy it. Having to, remember to go buy some water, and things like that. So I'm going to take a pause real quick so I could reset this and kind of just see where my thought process is, because I'm kind of losing track. So I'm going to just, I'm going to drink some water and I'm going to come back to you guys in about 3 seconds. All right, all right. All right, we're back. Man, I had to make some lasagna or something like that. But I guess kind of what I was thinking about, because I was looking through the topics, and I guess I just really covered most of them kind of um not automatically, but kind of just off the bat, I guess. But um the one thing that I did realize I didn't talk about was kind of just learning how to adjust, in the sense of like learning how to trust people. Um which I kind of realize I still kind of don't. But realizing that when you're in a new environment, you need to have somebody to kind of trust. You need at least someone to depend on that's not you. And that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to come by sometimes. Um, because personally, I really, I struggle. And I'm saying this in the sense of like, man, coming to somewhere new, you kind of learn, hey, like I don't really trust no one, and if I don't let anybody, if I don't, sometimes I feel like I keep myself at distance from people, because I don't trust them, or because I'm scared to trust them, because I'm scared that, if I give some people trust, they're gonna break that trust. But when you come to somewhere new, you need to realize, hey, like I need to trust someone. Because without trust, you become like miserable, because you feel like everybody's out to get you, and it's, and like sometimes you gotta just, man, some people are gonna break your trust. Some people are gonna go behind your back. Some people are gonna do some pretty lame stuff. It's bound to happen. It's life. And I kind of just, I'll speak on one thing, and I feel like the reason why my trust kind of got a little more, a little bit more jaded, was, when I was speaking into the situation too much. I had this buddy before, I had this friend before I left and came to college, and right before I came, he really did some, man, he really did some fucked up shit, you know? And I, like, it took me a real second to kind of sit with that and kind of understand, like he really hurt me. And I don't mean that in, any type of weird way. I just mean it in a simple way, like, hey, like I had this friend, and he betrayed me. And maybe in his eyes he doesn't see it as a betrayal, or maybe in other people's eyes it don't seem that's too serious, but to me it really hurt. So kind of back to my topic is just, after that kind of situation, I really had to kind of sit with myself, and I really don't trust nobody. It really, and I'm not saying nobody. Of course, I trust a few people, but that circle is very small. I don't really trust, like in terms of like really with my life trust, more than 5 people. I'm being so serious. I don't, because I always feel like everybody else has a different motive. Everybody has a certain motive, a certain thing that, because certain, like I've had this other friend at times where, he'll ask me certain things, and it's almost like he's checking up on me, but he's really just, kind of writing down intel, kind of getting the inside scoop of my life. I don't really know. Maybe he does care, but sometimes I just feel like it's like he's just trying to have something in his bank, to a certain degree, to just use it against me at some point. I don't know. Sometimes, man, and that could just be the trust issues talking, but, sometimes I just feel like people don't really care. But that's besides the point. I don't even know where I'm kind of, I'm kind of just swinging around. But I'm just saying it's hard to trust people, especially coming to a new area. But, I'm kind of learning how to trust people, especially with my roommate. Man, I really like that guy. Not in that kind of way. But he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. And, at first, when I came first in and we were just having this conversation the other day, he was like, man, you were really quiet. Like, you didn't really, man, it seemed like you didn't really fuck with me. And I was like, man, I'll be honest, I didn't. And I came in and I didn't, and it's not anything to do with him. I just didn't trust him at first. How could I trust him? I just met him. But, over time, you build that bond with certain people, especially living with somebody and, kind of trusting, all of your shit is right here. He could easily, take my chapstick, and I would never even, and of course I would suspect him. But, anyways, my point is, I had to build that kind of chemistry. I had to build that kind of bond, that trust. And now he's probably one of the people I really trust because he's a good guy, and it's not even always that you come across good guys. Because I'll be honest, man, sometimes, when looking back at my life and certain things that I've done and the way I've behaved, man, sometimes I'm like, man, am I even a person I could trust? Like, have I been a person that people could trust? Hell yeah, of course. But have I also done certain things that it's like, bro, the fuck you doing? Like, you're going behind someone's back or you're doing something against someone's wishes. And sometimes you gotta just look and you gotta be like, man, are you someone can trust? But kind of going back to my roommate, he's a good guy. And I've seen multiple times where there's been a chance, I guess, where he could have done something, weird, but he's even bring it up and be like, hey man, I wouldn't do that. And it's like, oh, it kind of reassures you. All right, there's some good people out there, and cause I don't know. That's kind of just one thing. I don't know if I'm at 30 minutes. It says 35 minutes, but I feel like I cut out a good 20. Nah, not 20 minutes. I cut out probably like a 5 minutes. I'm trying to get it to 30 minutes. So, I don't know if I'm actually there or not yet. I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to kind of ramble. I don't want to, I really want to focus and kind of concentrate these videos on certain topics now. I feel like in the past I've done solos and it's always been like very sad. Man, I think sometimes, man, I feel like one time I even cried a little bit. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to just sit here and I want to talk and I want to be able to kind of express myself and not necessarily be saying it in a sad way. Just be able to express myself. And maybe, some people out there feel the same way. And not even that, maybe some people just are entertained with my life and certain things that I want to share. And I'm kind of figuring out where's the line of where I want to share. Because me personally, I don't really care about putting my life out there. Clearly, I mean, I have a podcast. I'm not afraid to talk about anything, but I also don't want to cross those boundaries with certain people. I don't want to, put other people's business out there that I'm still in contact with. And even if I'm not in contact with, I feel like putting people's business out there is kind of lame, with certain things. So I don't know. I'm kind of just figuring that out, man. Like I said before at the beginning, man, I hope everybody's good. I hope everybody's, living their life or something, but I'm getting a call right now.
What are you doing?
Podcast.
With who?
Myself. It's a solo. I don't think I have anything else to say. I kind of feel like I got everything off my chest about kind of moving here and kind of just starting new. Man, I always feel like I shut down these episodes and I'm like, I should have said this or I should have said that. But it's fine. I feel like I got everything out that I wanted to say. If you guys like episodes like this, or, maybe have a request on maybe something you'd want me to talk about. Or, if you want to come on the podcast yourself, don't be shy. I'm a friendly guy. You could approach me if you see me, hit me on the Instagram DMs or anything like that. So, don't be shy. I'm, despite the eyebrow slit, I promise I'm a chill guy. I'm serious. But, yeah, man. So just, thanks. Like I said, thanks you guys for watching. I love you guys all to the bottom of my heart. And, yeah, I guess I'll just see you guys in the next episode. Man, just like stay weird. Peace.
Something wrong now.